The more there's an interaction and the more there's that syntax between people and art and people, I think the better.
Having public art in the city makes the city far more welcoming and far more walkable. You want to be on the street, you want to be around, you want to be looking at things, and it gets people out and about.
My name's AJ Loudin, and I'm an artist, and I'm down here in Lethbridge for the pilot project. So the city has brought in several artists like myself just to create large-scale artworks around the city. So the piece that I created is called Belonging. It depicts a mother and a daughter on a bit of a journey together, looking for a place to call home. And they're looking through space, they're looking through time, and so you can see some sort of allusions to this idea of things from the past and things from the future and things from the present all being mixed together. Some of the ornamentation in the frame, you'll notice that there are symbols in each corner, and each one of these symbols talks about time or space through the lens of a different culture. For a while, I've been thinking and making art about this idea of anachronism, of this sort of cyclical nature of time, and also this idea of, like, as a person of color, being able to see myself in the future and see people that look like me in the future. I grew up in a rural community here in Alberta, and so I didn't see the world around me reflecting a lot of people that look like me, right? Especially in like positions of power or authority. So I wanted to show these two black women flying, and obviously like experts or engineers or scientists. When I do stuff like this, or this style of mural that some people might see as like maybe Afrofuturism, that's what I'm trying to connect with, this idea of placing myself and my community in the future and seeing an upward and a positive trajectory for us. And then again, tying back to this idea of belonging, you know, like who belongs here in this place and when, you know, what time do they belong to, but also sort of like at a bigger scale for individual communities and groups of people, like how do we find belonging? That's part of the meaning behind it too.
My name is Matisz, and this is a mural I painted for the city of Lethbridge, and it's called Dreaming of Future Ecologies. Public art helps to create a really rich and unique community. It activates and energizes us in our own personal way, and then that kind of energy ripples out to the rest of the community. This painting is a meditation on our relationship to the environment. It suggests a kind of a journey that we take where we can imagine and examine our relationship to the planet. And this is a journey that we all take collectively and personally through many generations in local and global landscapes. It was just really fun to work with such bright colors on such a gray wall and have this sort of transformation happen. One thing I really like about this mural and that I tried to consider was I wanted the existing weeds that were already there to sort of really pop. There's something kind of cool about the way that the actual nature that's already there is becoming part of the mural in itself. They're sort of having a conversation together. I hope that when people walk by this mural, it will give them some time to sort of reflect on their own relationship to the environment and what they want our future to look like.
My name is Leila Armstrong, and I'm a local artist here in Lethbridge.
My name is Hagan, and I am also a local artist in Lethbridge. Leila approached me about collaborating on the mural project, and I said, okay, so we did.
Aaron's an abstract artist, and I do more representational wildlife type art. So we wanted to bring together both of our styles and marry them together, and the result was this mural. We really wanted to do something that would resonate with people in Lethbridge. So I wanted to do an animal that people would be familiar with. I'd done a sketch of a buck, and then Aaron came with this beautiful abstract painting.
I brought like 24 watercolors that I was recently jamming out some different ideas and designs that might work well with this project.
Yeah, and then we really wanted to make it local, like the wildlife. So we chose roughly the colors of a prairie sunset.
I really feel like everybody enjoys art to some extent, whether it's the movies or music. Art is for everyone, right? And so I think public art really takes it out of the private sphere. So this is something that's free.
I think that having public art in the city makes the city far more welcoming. You want to be on the street, you want to be around, you want to be looking at things, and it gets people out and about and talking about different issues, different things that are going on in the city. And I think that that really adds to our overall urban experience.
My name is Browne, and we're standing in front of a wall that I painted. It's a red-shafted northern flicker, and they're a bird that lives here all year round and kind of make their home here, there, everywhere. Very industrious bird. And so, given that I live here and work here and own this place, I see a lot of industrious people living in the alleys and making do with what they have. But besides that, I just wanted it to be colorful, break up this gray space that we live in all the time and add some vibrancy. Yeah. Well, I mean, the facade that was on there before was pretty problematic in terms of vandalism. So the city kind of had a program that would come and paint over it all the time with every different shade of gray or beige that they had. I was really wanting to kind of like change that space and make it something that, you know, wouldn't be attacked in that way. I've been making street art since I was like 15, and it's got sort of a self-governing body to it. And typically when there is nice artwork there, it doesn't actually get touched. It breaks up sort of like the beige landscape and sort of resets your brain a little bit, which is nice. And I love seeing people come do their Instagram posts here. It becomes kind of a physical landscape. Something about the scale of art pieces like this, they just like ignite the imagination, and I'm always inspired to see them. I had people come by and say, you know, like, hey, like, what if people don't like it? And I was like, great, my job is still done. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I mean, just the fact that they had to go, you know, look up from their phone, change their route to work or whatever, take a look at it and then decide why they didn't like it. You know, they still have to think about it, right? So that's just as important as whether they like it or not.
My name is Kylie Fineday, and I'm an artist working on a mural for the city of Lethbridge. My design is based on the local landscape of southern Alberta, with references to specific parts of the coulees and some regional landmarks. I was just inspired by a lot of like the local scenery, a lot of my favorite spots around Lethbridge and in the region. I spend a lot of time in the river bottom, driving through the coulees, and just wanted to kind of put some of these places together to create kind of like a new image that might be interesting to look at. I hope that people see this mural and recognize some of the spots that I'm referencing in it, but also like that it's kind of a bit more fantastical and not really lifelike. I'm using pretty bright colors to kind of make it more graphic and almost cartoon-like, and making the local landscape into sort of like more of like a fantasy realm. Public art is important, I think, because in addition to creating opportunities for artists, I think that having public art in the community kind of helps create a unique identity for a place, and also just makes art more visible and accessible.